Hey everybody, welcome back, and today we're going to talk about 6 things I learned from COVID-19, including thoughts on politics and toilet paper. So here are the 6 things I learned during the time of COVID-19. The first one is that you don't need as much toilet paper as you think you do. It seems like our supply chain worked reasonably well, and there was kind of a mad rush over some of the essentials that maybe there didn't need to be. We don't all need to be like our own versions of Smog, hiding our resources in a mountain formerly owned by dwarves. It didn't end well for him, and I don't know that the hoarding was really all that necessary for any of us. As far as I know, I think all of us got our toilet paper A-okay. The second thing that I want to mention is that I've learned is that content does not equal church. My church and me and just really everybody in ministry I know did a really good job of trying to get as much up on the internet as they could. We tried to disciple through technology the best way we could because we were doing the best we could. However, during this time, I've realized more than ever before that the internet will always have good videos on it. It will always have good content. There's some not good content, definitely, but it'll always have good content. But the one thing that the internet can't do better than the church is relationship. Throughout Scripture, we see that God is an incarnational God. No more obvious than in the incarnation of Jesus himself is that ministry is best done face-to-face, person-to-person. And so I don't know how soon, and I know that it will have to be done with safety and wisdom, but I look forward to the day when we see each other face-to-face again, because I think that's how relationships are best carried forward to the glory of God. So the third thing is that I've learned during this crisis is that driving like a maniac will not prevent the spread of COVID-19. Every time I was on our local outer belt 469, I noticed very keenly that people tended to drive twice as fast and they stopped using their turn signals. Even though there were less cars on the road, it always seemed more dangerous than it had before. And I would think it might be good for all of us to take a deep breath and remember that we don't live in a Mad Max movie. We're not that bad in terms of resources and trying to get places. As far as I know, street gangs have not overtaken your average highway. And so it's okay for all of us to take a deep breath and relax once in a while. Number 4 thing that I learned that I thought was really powerful to me and really noticeable during this season is that how much you get paid doesn't necessarily equate to the value of your work. I noticed throughout this crisis that some occupations were appreciated like never before. I think of our school teachers, I think of our janitors, people that we don't necessarily think is making the highest salaries. All of a sudden, we realized how important they were. I think of all of our teachers who taught my kids and are still working really hard to try to give my kids the best education they can from a distance. Thank you, teachers. I also think of our church janitor who is coming in to clean away germs from the staff coming in when we can and at certain times. I think of all the hard work that people are doing. Throughout Scripture, it's very clear that most occupations can glorify God if we do them in a way that points to Him, that shows love and goodness and care of creation and care of other people to God. And I think there's a lot of occupations. I don't think you can be a drug dealer for Jesus, but I saw a lot of people work really, really hard and not always the people we notice. And I think during this time, we've seen God use our service people, our food service, our shipping industry people, our janitors, our teachers, certainly our doctors and nurses in pretty profound ways. Number 5 thing that I learned is that we could all be 30% at least nicer to each other. If you want to shoot for 100, I think that's a good goal. But I think I was trying not to put the bar too high, I guess. But honestly, I think we could all just do a better job of being nicer. Galatians 5:22 and 23 says, "The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control." You don't have to be smart to be nice to people. You don't have to be rich to be nice to people. During this time, I've really tried to work on my own patience. I've noticed with my family being in a 1,000 square foot home most of the time and having a lot of pressure from work and school, it's been easy for patience to run thin. And I've gotten so much better at saying these simple 3 things. I'm sorry, you have a good point, and I was wrong. So let me repeat those again because I think they're good for all of us to learn how to say. And I've been working on them real hard during this time. It's, I'm sorry, you have a good point, and I was wrong. Now, it was really cool to me to see our politicians and leaders band together during this time at the beginning. But very quickly, I think we've already seen people go back into to partisan camps and fighting instead of just everybody trying to be nice to each other. I think those three things are something we never hear politicians say. I'm sorry, you have a good point, and I was wrong. And maybe we should hear them say that once in a while. But moving on. Number 6, work hard, but rest intentionally. During this time, I've really tried hard to make sure I got all my work hours in, even though it wasn't easy with the kids being home from school and all those different things. But I've tended to realize is that you will never have time for the things you want unless you make time for them. In terms of prayer, in terms of time with your family, in times of work, in times of rest, you have to be intentional in every single season of life. This one may have been harder, but it's always true that you have to be intentional. And so what I've found is a lot of days I've done okay. I've done great probably with prayer and reading scripture. I've done okay with work. But the place where I wish I would have spent more time is actually with my family. We've been in a 1,000 square foot house, but between work and all of us going our own directions and working on our own things, we've been very close, but haven't spent as much time together as I want. Now next week I'm going on vacation for a week, so I hope to correct that. But at the end of the day, I'm reminded that the Bible, as much as it talks about hard work being a good thing, it also talks about the danger of hard work becoming an idol. So, for example, Proverbs 23:4. Do not wear yourself out to get rich. Do not trust in your own cleverness. Psalm 127:2. In vain you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat, for he grants sleep to those he loves. The reality is as Christians, we should work hard, but we should never think that our work defines us. We should never think that our work is the totality of who we are. And for those of us that have been trying to work incredibly hard, but things aren't as easy as they used to be, maybe we could all give ourselves a break and trust in God. So at the end of this video, and we're going to transition to a new series next, but if you have time to discuss either with yourself or with family or friends, I would suggest this question. What has Jesus been teaching you during the time of COVID-19? Because I'm sure he's teaching you some pretty valuable things as well. And my hope is that you stop and listen to him. Feel free as always to comment, like, and subscribe. But may the God of peace, the God of all power and all justice and all healing be with you during this time. Thanks guys for watching.